Hey everyone, Griffin here, and today I wanted to take you through a couple of methods for how to up your Tesla to its maximum range possible. If you're looking to either road trip with your Tesla, or even if you're just trying to get as much out of your car as possible in your daily driving, like that claimed EPA range, well, I'll be walking you through all of the settings and some considerations that you need to use that will help you boost your range to the maximum amount. With that said, let's jump right in and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Tesla content every Saturday. Okay, so let's start off with some of the most important and also some of the easiest changes that you can make when using your Tesla in order to keep your battery's charge up as long as possible. To begin with, let's talk about Sentry mode and overheat protection. Both of these are settings that can be very valuable in certain situations. Obviously, for example, Sentry mode is going to surveil your Tesla even when you're not around it and could record damages or even a break-in and alert you of it. But even though this mode can be extremely useful in some cases, along with that overheat protection, which prevents your interior's cabin from surpassing high temperatures if, say, your car is parked in the direct sunlight in the heat, well, both of these modes can actually cause what's known as vampire or phantom drain, which will really cut down on your Tesla's range between those charges, depending on how long you leave your vehicle parked for. So if you don't park your car in a sketchy area at night, and if your Tesla is not parked in direct sunlight during the day, well, you could potentially consider going ahead and turning both of these settings off, along with just keeping your windows vented slightly to let heat escape the cabin. That's in regards to cabin overheat protection. Another place you could potentially get away with disabling both Sentry mode and overheat protection is at the airport. Depending, of course, on the sketchiness of your airport, you might choose to turn off Sentry mode, especially if you're in a colder climate, parking for, let's say, a week at the airport in cold weather and you're going down south. I've done this before, and with Sentry mode on, it can literally drain the battery up to 5 or 10% per day as people are coming close to your vehicle and it's turning those cameras on. So during the cold weather, this can have a massive impact, where once I literally didn't even check for a couple of days, the battery had drained by 30%, disabled Sentry mode, and from there on out, it was only dropping by about 1% per day, which was, okay. But yeah, so both of these settings only scratch the surface though of what's available to you to maximize your range between charges. Let's go into the next one. Next up, let's talk about preconditioning your vehicle, which is going to ensure the best utilization of your Tesla's charge during your drive. Simply put, preconditioning is a way to have your Tesla warm up or cool down the battery before any drive or before supercharging, even more importantly. And this can help you maintain your range, especially in that extremely hot or cold weather. And with summer finally here in North America, this setting is going to be very important to consider. To do this from your app, you can visit the schedule departure feature, which will let your Tesla know that it should preheat the battery, warm up the cabin, and get your car ready to leave by a certain time every day if you work on, say, a fixed schedule. You can set this up so that it does it by a certain time every morning. And the best part about this is that it's going to be pulling power directly from your charger if the car is plugged in, which it should be overnight anyways, and this is going to mean that your range will be at your desired level when you're actually ready to leave with a preconditioned vehicle, the cabin and the battery. You can also extend your Tesla's range with the mode Keep Climate On, which will essentially keep your climate at a certain temperature even when you park your car or leave it during short errands, for example. Now, obviously, this can drain the battery even further if you're in extreme heat and have the AC on full blast. So only use this while running quick errands, but it can also maintain your battery's temperature, right? Which will keep your Tesla's battery healthy for longer, thus increasing the overall range, because it doesn't have to say, bring back down the temperature from 150 degrees Fahrenheit in the cabin after only, say, 10 minutes running into the store. It'll keep that temperature maintained. So just remember though, when you're starting your Tesla or planning to go for a drive, preconditioning is one of the most important things that you can do both in the summer and the winter. Not only does this increase range for that given drive, but Tesla also recommends it for keeping your battery healthy long term. So yeah, just make sure you do that. Tesla actually has a mode called chill mode, which can basically make your car's acceleration a lot smoother so that you're not losing a bunch of power every time you're flooring it to the next red light, which does a lot during the colder months and harsh winters when the battery's range is going to be depleted anyways. The best part about this mode is that it doesn't just make your car drive smoother as well, in my opinion. It's not as jerky as with most Teslas and electric vehicles, but it's actually also using less energy for acceleration. So therefore it can help you get more miles out of each charge. So selecting the chill driving mode is really simple. Go into your settings, go into driving dynamics, and it will be right at the top. Usually chill and standard if you have a standard range plus vehicle, or even I believe a long range. And if you have a performance, there'll probably be a third option, or there will be a third option for sport or faster acceleration essentially. I have the standard range plus though, so I only have two options, and 90% of the time I keep it on chill mode. But the benefits that you're really going to also get out of chill mode aren't going to just be limited to your battery's range, since it can actually reduce your tire wear as well. Now obviously this mode is going to be even better for colder months, since cold weather is already going to be putting wear and tear on your battery. You'll get less efficiency in these months and probably have to use the heater more often, so using chill mode to offset some of this is a great idea as well. That being said, you can also just activate chill mode whenever you're trying to tune your efficiency up to the max. You don't have to only turn it on when winter rolls around. Just use it all year round like myself whenever you're trying to up your range. All right, moving on, it's been shown that smaller wheels in terms of wheel diameter will tend to actually give you a longer range, and you could also make your vehicle slightly lighter, thus increasing range by a small margin. In fact, Tesla's website itself shows the range dropping by nearly 50 kilometers when selecting the 21-inch wheels as opposed to the 19-inch wheels. Additionally, I'd recommend getting the aero covers and keeping those on your wheels if possible, if you have the standard aero rims, since these covers can actually help increase your car's range by roughly an additional 10 miles. Even if you have the larger rims though, getting and installing hubcaps that are more aerodynamic and let the air stream past the rims more efficiently could help increase the range slightly. Another thing to keep in mind for winter driving, you should actually swap out tires and use a dedicated tire set that is snow rated, or at the very least all season. The reason for this is that this will improve your Tesla's grip in cold weather, and when you're driving over slippery ice, this means that you'll be getting not only better range but also increased safety during winter, of course. Now if you don't need this more aggressive tread that a winter tire offers, such as when you're driving in the summer, well, you can swap back to EV specific tires that will minimize rolling resistance, since you're not going to need that snow grip, of course, right? If you live in a hot climate, just make sure that you have an EV rated tire. Now it might not seem like a big deal, but the tires that you use definitely go a long way in optimizing your Tesla's range and the smoothness of the ride. So obviously when you're buying a new Tesla, your tires are going to be EV rated, but after a couple of seasons, when you're looking to purchase new tires, make sure that they have the EV stamp and logo on the tire sidewall, making sure that they are rated for EV vehicles. Tesla doesn't recommend charging your vehicle to 100% unless you're going to really need it, like when you're going on a road trip. And that's also what I do with my own vehicles, despite now having a Model 3 that does have an LFP in it. Side note, for the LFP Teslas, Tesla does actually recommend keeping that state of charge limit at 100%, but data shows that this is actually still counterproductive for the longevity of the battery, even if it's an LFP over an NCA. Instead, you should aim to hit around 80% charge daily, and if you do ever charge your Tesla to 100%, try to avoid leaving it at that 100% state of charge for extended periods of time, as this puts strain on the battery cells. By the way, I've made a full video about my take on state of charge for LFP Teslas, backed by the most up-to-date data, so definitely check that video out after watching this one. And also, I've had this car for around over 6 months now, actually almost approaching a year, which is crazy to think, and it has around 23,000 kilometers on it. I recently did a battery health test through the Tesla itself, and it is at 100%. Since then, it's dropped to 98, but still, based on my charging habits, it has maintained almost the entirety of its charge capacity. And once your Tesla is done overnight charging though, I'd also recommend setting up that preconditioning schedule so that it's conducting this preconditioning while also still plugged in and pulling juice from the grid as mentioned earlier. Again, it's all about optimizing your scheduling so that your Tesla can actually get what it needs to be completed before you leave in the morning. Okay, now similar to how with regular gasoline vehicles, you can save a lot of gas by using cruise control because it keeps your acceleration steadier. Tesla's autopilot feature could actually save a lot of battery and extend your range for the same reason if you're someone who's, say, heavy on the accelerator to begin with. That is if you don't put your full self-driving on the hurry mode though. Because Tesla's autopilot uses smoother inputs than most human drivers, you're going to find that your range will actually increase when you're using the autopilot feature. So if you're going on a longer drive or a road trip and, not just driving around the neighborhood or your city, turn on autopilot or FSD to maximize that range, especially on freeways. Now, along with this, always make sure that you're driving your Tesla at good average speeds if possible, because this is a sweet spot for efficiency. If you're speeding above 70 miles an hour, well, you will be losing out on a significant amount of range as drag increases on the car. In fact, once I was at the Tesla service center and I was just chatting with the technician working there, and he was telling me that this guy had called him basically saying, well, a Tesla customer, saying that, hey, his range was significantly less than that EPA range when he went from Ottawa to Toronto, which is about 200 kilometers. And so basically he was asking him, well, what speed were you driving? And he was going about 190. So obviously that's going to massively decrease the range that you're getting because the drag is just so much higher on the car. Ideally, you should aim for around 30 to 40 miles per hour, but you can get, all the way up to 60, 65, depending on whether you're going for a steady autopilot speed cruise. Now, obviously, you're not going to fully change the way that you drive just to maximize range. Just keep in mind that if you're going excessively fast, your range will decrease quite a bit. And also keep in mind when you're driving to try and avoid accelerating too often and very aggressively, and to follow traffic so that you're not just, wasting battery, braking, and then accelerating again to the next red light. That is going to be a surefire way to drain your battery prematurely. All right, so remember how I talked about swapping out your tires for maximum efficiency earlier on in the video? Well, there are more tire-related hacks that you can use to seriously optimize your range as well. This one specifically has to do with your Tesla's tire pressure. And keep in mind that on both extremely cold and extremely hot days, your air pressure in the tires is going to fluctuate, either increase or decrease, and that PSI will probably become suboptimal to that typical range that you want to keep it in. For my Model 3, it's right at around 42 PSI is what Tesla recommends. By the way, you can check this for your own vehicle and trim in the driver's side door. And so with this in mind, try to always keep the pressure in your tires at the recommended amount. And you don't really need to play with this, right? It's normal for it to decrease when it's cold out and increase when it is hot. However, if you are driving your vehicle very long distances in, say, scorching heat and on the highway, that could increase the tire pressure significantly up to, I've seen on my own car, like 50 PSI, which is going to be very suboptimal and also increase the wear on the tires. So in that specific instance, I did remove some of the air pressure, and then later on when I got back from my trip, put a bit more air back into the tires. Keep in mind that as a general rule of thumb, you can actually slightly overinflate your tires when you're going to be driving longer distances though, as tires that are more inflated will give less rolling resistance and your range will be slightly higher. But just make sure you aren't, again, entering that dangerous tire pressure territory if driving long distances on hot highways. At this point, we've basically covered all of the larger tips for keeping your Tesla's range optimized and your battery healthy long term, but there are some little tips and tricks that you can use to extend your range a little bit more. For one, I know this sounds simple and like a no-brainer, but try to remove any heavy items that you don't need from your trunk or your front, because lower weight will mean more range, right? I've known some friends to carry around 48 bottles of water in the back of their car in case they need it, which which sure, I guess is practical in some cases, but that can also add quite a bit of weight to your vehicle, which, in one drive might not reduce the range that much. But if you're doing that over years, well, that's quite a bit of range that you're losing out on for no real reason. Along with this, you can wash your car regularly if you really want to make every little bit of range count. Seriously, Mythbusters confirm this, so it is actually legitimate, where a clean vehicle tends to have a little bit more range and gas efficiency as well in that test than a dirty vehicle. Along with this, make sure you're staying up to date with not just hardware, but also software upgrades. If there are any updates, you need to download and install them right away. So I'd recommend setting your downloads to advanced for the latest efficiency updates. All right, now remember guys, in general, you just want to optimize your battery's health and make sure that you're using your Tesla reliably and smartly for that daily driving. This is what really gives you the best range when you actually need it, and you're going to be able to maximize your range much more efficiently if you do this. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like, and if you want to support the channel, make sure to check out the links down below in this video's description over to my Amazon storefront for some great accessories for your Model 3 or Model Y, and also check out Amber, which is going to allow you to extend your Tesla's warranty on many of those higher priced repairs over time if you have an older Tesla. And finally, if you're picking up a new Tesla over the next weeks or months, make sure to check out my website to pick up a delivery day checklist going over 60 things that you want to check on delivery day for your new vehicle. Thanks all for watching. Subscribe to the channel, check out one of these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.